Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa Snow and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. My name is Greg Phelps. Joining me once again is dementia care expert Teepa Snow. And Teepa, surfing the web in search of topics, I came across this one. Feelings remain when facts are forgotten. Feelings remain when facts are forgotten. Came as a bit of a gut punch to me, as it's rarely discussed. How do we deal with that? Because I'm trying to give you information. I'm trying to give you a fact. If you leave that pot on the stove, if you do this, blah, blah, blah.
Don't tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me. See, you always think you're the boss. You have done this your whole life, tried to tell me what to do. Okay, so what just happened there is I felt something when Greg was trying to help me. And what I felt trumped what I heard. I couldn't hear what he said because as soon as I felt something, my more primitive brain felt threatened by what he said. And it didn't matter what he said at that point, the tone, the face, the intonation, the idea that I'm incompetent. So he says, his statement was really just information. If you leave the pot on the stove like that, it could catch fire. The subtext, you're incompetent. You, as a mature woman, don't know that information anymore, or your behavior is such that you're doing. And so my brain skipped ahead to an emotional reaction. And of course, Greg, if you simply thought you were giving me info, what happens when I go to nuclear here? What happens for you when I get really angry at you and yell at you?
Your receptors aren't really listening or taking in what I'm saying. You've probably put up the Berlin Wall again.
Well, but what happens for you when I yell at you? Don't tell me what to do.
Then I get defensive. So then...
Oh, wait, it goes two ways then? You mean, so now you're not listening to what my brain is telling you, which is the way you delivered the information made me feel incompetent. All you felt was the attack. Oh. See, this is where I find it so interesting that we suddenly assume this only happens for people living with dementia, when in fact, humans as a rule tend to feel things, and whether we talk and believe about it or not, because our amygdalae are built to sustain us. And so that means we think we see threats where there may not be, where we see pleasure, but should you go after it? I need something. Do you really? I mean, it's all in how we judge ourselves, that self-awareness. And in dementia, because someone has an impairment, we're real quick to go, oh, it's them. I'm fine, actually.
Is that part of an ancient survival thing that was built into our DNA, our genes, or whatever?
Yeah, I think, if I had to best guess, I mean, having done some research, but some best guessing, I think we are meant to stay within a tribe, if at all possible, because we're safer in a group with numbers. And that means there has to be an alpha. There has to be someone who leads in an emergency. So I have to accept sort of the override of someone outside myself being that boss person, that person who guides and makes choices. And we go along with it. We can talk about it later after we're out of the crisis. But in the crisis, we have to pull together and move forward with somebody who supposedly knows what they're doing, has that skill set. So when you treat me as though I'm incompetent and I've been the boss of the kitchen, suddenly this idea of you're not the boss of me and your sense of, but you're unsafe. And we get into and I call them arguments, disagreements. And what I remember is I can't trust you anymore because you're mean to me. It's like, but that's not what happened, Mom. It's like, well, it was sort of. But if we go back in time, I mean, it's just saying, I don't feel like you're a good leader, which nobody wants to hear if you're a leader.
What I'm hearing is that people need some skills. Now, I take in skills visually and verbally. Reading is, I read for pleasure more so than knowledge. So how can I absorb this material? Have you got different methods for different learners?
Absolutely, because we have found that human beings are unique in how they like to take in info. So we do online courses where you get to interact with people as you're learning. We have books, we have videos. If you like to watch, you like to listen. Many of our videos have like a pay, like during it, there'll be a screen that has written data on it that you can pause and get off, or there might be a resource that goes, we have resource cards. Um, and more importantly, what you just said, Greg, reminded me that there's one thing of taking data in, and then there's the ability to use the data you took in. And so we also have courses and programs that are made to build skill, which is a whole nother set of abilities. Because you could take info in, could know what you should say and not be able to say it in the moment. Because old stuff pops up and you have a hard time letting go of it. So when you notice the thing on the stove, you go, "Oh, hey, mom, looks like you still have the tea kettle on. Does it have any water in it?" And that's my chance to go, "Oh, crap. No, I shoot. I totally forgot about that." But you don't get to be the boss of me. You just notice something, say, "Is that tea kettle on?" "Oh, yeah. Huh. Let me put some water in it."
It's going through this topic, just having sudden flashbacks of my kids. You're not the boss of me. And it's whole different scenarios, but it certainly gives you that trigger,
It's
and
that
you
same
have.
feeling, huh? Yeah, like where I'm not how I used to be, and you think you suddenly have a right to do things. And it's not, you're not intending it that way. But that sense of entitlement, by virtue of your better quality brain, apparently.
So is this where you decided that the term care partner was
Ah,
better than caregiver?
giver. Yeah, because giving of advice, giving of information, giving of care, the other person has to be a willing recipient or it doesn't go well. And so our thought is, well, maybe you should get permission before you start. Maybe we should make neutral observations before we sit in judgment. Maybe we should get curious before we decide we have the right answer.
Teepa, we've thrown a lot of information out in the podcast today. If I need to talk to somebody, how do I get a hold of anybody?
The easiest thing is consult@teepasnow.com. Info@teepasnow.com, or you can call. We have an 800 number as well, because we believe making a connection is probably the first step to looking at what's happening and realizing, oh, maybe I do need a little help.
Teepa, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Positive Approach to Care. For more information on today's program, go to teepasnow.com.